We are at the opening verse of the opening page of the chapter of endless possibilities. Rudyard Kipling's words upon learning of the Wright brothers' first powered flight in 1903 at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, still hold true today. The Wright brothers' pioneering aviation discoveries opened a gateway to the future. At the Wright Experience shop, these men and women are working to open a gateway to the past.
It's very critical to have the construction of the airplane and the information that the Wrights did available today, because no one's ever done it. We've put a man on the moon, but we've not been able to duplicate a Wright brothers airplane and fly it the way the Wright brothers did.
The Wright Experience is working to recreate a historically accurate reproduction of the original 1903 Wright Flyer. Not an easy task, considering the secrecy surrounding the Wright brothers' pioneering work.
When you read what they filed for the patent, they patented the 1902 glider. When you see all the components in the patent, they were not dishonest, but the way they arranged it, you could not build an airplane from that patent drawing.
Through a process now referred to as aviation archaeology, the Wright Experience team is able to retrace the scientific leaps the Wright brothers made.
They first started out with gliders, like everyone else, and they used the father of aviation's tables, Otto Lilienthal. They used his tables to design the wing shape or form for the 1900 and the 1901 glider. The numbers just didn't work out.
According to Ken Hyde, the Wrights' initial glider flight trials at Kitty Hawk, using Lilienthal's scientific research on wing shapes, were a failure. In 1901, the Wrights returned to the family home and their shop in Dayton, Ohio.
Catherine said the boys are home from Kitty Hawk and they're not talking about flying anymore. And that's when they made the statement that it'll be 1,000 years before anyone discovers the secret of flight. Well, 2 weeks later, they decide maybe there's something wrong with Lilienthal's tables.
Ken Hyde says the Wrights' free-thinking determination led them to question the academic authorities of the day in the search for a successful propeller design.
They determined that John Smeaton, the leading authority or scientist on measuring the resistance to a flat plate and other things, had the formula completely wrong. He had it as .005, and in their wind tunnel they proved it was .0033. That's the number we build airplanes with today.
Based on their wind tunnel tests and flights of the gliders, they could estimate how much thrust they would need from a pair of propellers. And they designed this propeller to give that amount of thrust. They carved it, put it on the airplane, and flew. It's just an incredible story. People who have studied aviation history, and the Wright brothers in particular, say that the propeller work is the Wrights' single greatest contribution to aviation. It's just an incredible story. My degree is in mathematics. I don't think I could begin to do something like this. It's an amazing accomplishment.
Attention to historically accurate detail has led the Wright Experience team on a search for artifacts that hold the clues to the Wrights' history. Engine specialist Greg Cohn works with this early 1910 Wright engine.
This engine, very historic. Serial number 20 of their production series. This one was built in late 1910. It's vertical 4, it's 35 horsepower. They made more of these than any other type of engine.
Ohio and North Carolina both hold claim to the birthplace of aviation. But for the Wright brothers, North Carolina offered something special, something still present in 2003.
They wrote the Weather Service and asked where they could find actually the best place that had consistently good, strong winds. And the Weather Service gave them Kitty Hawk as one of the places. And they wrote to the postmaster, Mr. Tate, at Kitty Hawk. And Mr. Tate said that you'll find the hospitality of the North Carolinians very good, and we would really like to have you here. And of course they loved it because it was isolated and they could experiment in total secrecy almost. And they enjoyed North Carolina, and Mr. Tate wrote an article later about the Wrights, and the title of it was, "We Don't Laugh at Them Anymore." So they were kind of comical with their suits and ties and bowler hats out there in the sand dunes trying to learn to fly a glider. That first photograph that was taken by John T. Daniels, one of the Coast Guard station, couldn't have been centered more perfectly. And it's astonishing to me because the man had never seen a camera before. And he took the picture, and they asked him at the end of the flight, they said, well, did you actually get the photograph? And he said, I don't know. I don't remember whether I squeezed the bulb or not. I was so excited.
As construction on the reproduction progresses, the Wright Experience hopes to have a fully tested and working Wright Flyer for the centennial in December 2003. But as to who will fly the machine, it's still up in the air.
The real question is whether today's modern pilot can unlearn virtually everything they know about flying an airplane to be able to be successful to fly the Wright brothers airplane and survive or not damage the machine. So that's going to be the challenge.
While the recreation of the past is important to the Wright Experience volunteers and staff, teaching and providing inspiration to the next generation of aviation pioneers is the ultimate goal.
If we can inspire one Orville Wright or one Wilbur Wright for the future, then our mission has been completed, along with uncovering the secrets of what these two gentlemen were able to accomplish.